So for this problem, they want you to see if the mean value theorem can be applied to this function and find the value of c if it can. So they give you this interval of -8 to 8. So the first thing you want to try is just make sure that everywhere on this interval that it exists. Because if there's a point that does not exist, then we actually can't use the mean value theorem. So we plug it in, and we plug in -8. So 8 minus the -8 will just be 8 plus 8. So it will be positive, and that works because we can't have negative numbers underneath the square root. The next thing is we plug in this number, 8 minus 8, and 0. So everything in between works, and we're good. So because the actual statement of the mean value theorem is that it has to be continuous. So if there's a point that does not exist on this domain, then we couldn't use mean value theorem. But it does exist, so we can use it. So the formula that the mean value theorem says is f of c, f prime of c actually, is equal to f of b minus f of a is over b minus a. So all this means is this is the derivative, right? This is the derivative of the function at point c. This is the function, just the function. This is the derivative of this function. This is just the function itself. This is a, and this is b, and that's usually the case. So all you're doing is plugging in each of these for f of b and f of a. So if it's just b and a, you just plug in these numbers. But since it's f of b, you plug in b, right, 8, into this function. So what does that equal? Well, if we plug in b into this, what do we get? 8 minus 8 is 0. If we plug in a into this, what do we get? 8 minus -8 is 8 plus 8. Square root of 16 is 4. Now we just plug in the rest. So it's b minus a. So it's 8 minus a -8. That's a common mistake. So always use parentheses to make sure if you have two negatives, it'll become positive. So you get -4 is equal to 8 plus 8 is 16, and still equal to f prime of c. And then that will give you -1 over 4. So now we show that it does exist, and now they want us to find c. So what do? We look at this, and we see that it's the derivative of the function. So what was the function? This. So now we find the derivative of this. So all I did was just plug in that, square root of 8 minus x. You can rewrite square roots as to the power of 1/2. That's all you have to do, just because this is equal to this. So just rewrite that square root as the power to the 1/2. Now take the derivative, so you keep the parentheses, bring down the 1/2, and then it's going to be -1, so it's going to be -2 over 2 is equal to -1 over half. And then you take the derivative of the inside, and since it's -x, it's going to be derivative of x is 1, but since there's a negative sign in front of it, it's going to be -1. And it's still equal to -1 over 4. So all I did was just rewrite it, because since 8 minus x is to the negative power, that's still square root, but that goes on the denominator. Because if it's negative, then if you bring it to the denominator, it'll become positive. So now you have -1, from here, -1 over 2, because 2 is on the denominator, and then square root of 8 minus x is equal to -1 over 4. So what you can do is just multiply each side by 2, and you'll get -2 over 4. You can multiply each side by square root of 8 minus x. So then what you get is, well, you can simplify that. 2 divided by 4 is just 1/2. You can plug in this square root of 8 minus x. You keep the negative sign, and then multiply each side by 2. You get square root of 8, 8 minus x, negative, don't forget the negative sign, times 2, because I multiply each side by 2. And then finally, since both of these are negative, you can make them positive. So what equals 2? Well, if we plug in 4, 8 minus 4 is 4, square root of 4 is 2, so x equals 4. So that value of c will be 4. Find the value of c. So we solve for x, which is equal to c right here, and that's what we got. So to recap, all I did was find the domain, make sure it exists, because if it exists, then we can apply mean value theorem. We use this formula. You just plug in the numbers. This is A and this is B. Plug in the numbers. Find the derivative. Once you find the derivative, solve for x, and x is equal to c. So this will be your answer. I hope that helped, and thanks for watching.